that 3I Atlas, this strange interstellar visitor, is not just a comet, not just a frozen rock from another star system, but possibly some kind of alien technology.
They thought it was gone, a silent wanderer from the edges of interstellar space, vanishing back into the void after its brief, ghostly visit. But months after 3I/ATLAS passed out of range, something impossible happened. A signal, a pulse, a coded whisper from the darkness, faint yet unmistakable, that left scientists speechless and government scrambling. For years, we've debated the origins of interstellar visitors like Oumuamua or Borisov, but none of them ever spoke back. This one did, and the message it sent may be the most chilling warning our species has ever received. It began quietly, almost by accident. In early 2025, a small radio astronomy team in Chile's Atacama Desert was monitoring deep space noise to calibrate a new dish array. Amid the random cosmic static came a rhythmic pattern. 3 bursts, a pause, then a low-frequency hum. The signal repeated every 42 minutes with mathematical precision. At first, the team thought it was interference from a nearby satellite, but cross-checks with observatories in Japan, South Africa, and Australia confirmed it. The same pattern, same timing, same origin point. Triangulation placed it far beyond Neptune, tracing along the outbound trajectory of the object astronomers had cataloged as 3I/ATLAS. 3I/ATLAS had entered the solar system late in 2023, a dim, hyperbolic traveler moving far too fast to be bound by the sun's gravity. Unlike the earlier visitors, its albedo was strange. Not icy like Borisov, not rocky like Oumuamua, but a complex composite of metallic reflectivity and dark organic coating. When telescopes focused on it, its light curve pulsed irregularly, as if something on its surface rotated with deliberate modulation. Astronomers logged the anomaly, but dismissed it as tumbling debris. After all, space is full of mysteries, but no one expected it to send a transmission. NASA's Deep Space Network locked on as soon as the coordinates matched. The data flow was faint, less than a billionth the strength of a normal pulsar. Yet the frequency modulation wasn't natural. It carried encoded information, a mathematical structure built on prime numbers, Fibonacci sequences, and symmetrical harmonics. Within days, data scientists from the SETI Institute confirmed what everyone suspected but feared to say aloud. It was artificial. When the news leaked, panic spread through the scientific community. Governments tried to suppress it, but encrypted files were already circulating on private astronomy forums. Amateur radio operators began scanning the sky themselves, and several confirmed weak echoes of the same signal, a pattern too perfect for nature, too deliberate for coincidence. And then, just as suddenly as it began, the transmission stopped. For weeks, nothing. But then, an encrypted packet appeared on the Deep Space Network's archival logs, data that had not been sent by any known satellite. The packet contained a compressed binary sequence that, when decoded, produced a 3-dimensional holographic pattern, an image resembling a spiral galaxy seen from above, with one small, luminous point pulsing near its edge. The coordinates corresponded not to any known system, but to a position that Earth itself will occupy roughly 200 million years in the future, as the Milky Way rotates. It was as if someone or something was marking our place in time. The world divided instantly between believers and skeptics. Some claimed it was a prank by rogue AI researchers. Others said it was a cosmic mirror, the universe reflecting our own data back to us. But deep within a classified division of the European Space Agency, analysts discovered something more disturbing. Hidden inside the transmission's harmonics were spectral patterns identical to the resonant frequencies of Earth's magnetic field. In essence, the signal was mimicking the heartbeat of our planet. A whistleblower from the agency leaked an internal memo. If this interpretation is correct, it read, the sender of the message has mapped not only our location in space, but our electromagnetic signature, an energy fingerprint unique to Earth. Whoever sent it knew exactly where we are, and what sustains our planet's shield. Then came the second event. On June 11, 2025, the James Webb Space Telescope detected a flare along 3I/ATLAS's projected path. A brief, intense burst of ultraviolet light followed by infrared residue consistent with controlled propulsion. In other words, the object had accelerated. No natural body could have done that without releasing visible ejecta, but none was seen. Within hours, the signal returned, stronger this time, pulsing across multiple frequencies, almost like chords chords of a cosmic instrument. Astrophysicists noticed the intervals matched the Schumann resonances, the electromagnetic oscillations trapped between Earth's surface and ionosphere. The message was no longer coming from the edge of the solar system. It was resonating through Earth's own atmosphere. Conspiracy theories exploded online. Some said it was contact, others whispered of something worse, a planetary diagnostic, a scan, or even a warning. The U.S. Space Force initiated Project Dawnwatch, an emergency protocol to monitor all interplanetary communication lines. Private satellites were ordered to stand down for maintenance, but data kept leaking, and independent researchers in Finland managed to reconstruct the full waveform of the second transmission. When they rendered it into audible sound, it resembled a slow, rising hum, like a deep choral tone building toward a crescendo. At precisely the 90-second mark, the tone shifted into modulated Morse. It translated to one word, repeated 3 times, echo, echo, echo. Nobody knew what it meant. Linguists, mathematicians, and physicists all argued over the interpretation. Was it referencing the myth of Echo and Narcissus, a warning about self-obsession? Or was it literally describing what the object was? An echo of something else, a probe repeating messages across civilizations like a cosmic relay. Then, something unexpected happened. Earth's magnetosphere began to fluctuate. Satellite readings showed unusual disturbances in the Van Allen belts. The fluctuations matched the timing of the 3 I/ATLAS signal. It was as though the planet itself was responding. Within days, auroras began appearing at latitudes where they shouldn't, glowing red and purple over the Sahara, the Caribbean. Even above the equator, the light displays pulsed in perfect synchronization with the recorded pattern. That's when scientists realized the horrifying possibility. The signal was using Earth's magnetic field as an amplifier. We were no longer just observing it, we were part of the circuit. In underground labs, physicists attempted to simulate the waveform. Every test produced the same anomaly, feedback loops that seemed to encode higher dimensional harmonics, mathematics beyond current human comprehension. Some theorized it was an interstellar form of communication designed to awaken or synchronize intelligent life. Others suggested it was a beacon calling home. A few, more quietly, feared it was an alarm, not from us, but for us. Then came the blackout. On July 2nd, radio telescopes worldwide suddenly lost contact with several deep space probes. Voyager 1, which had been transmitting weak but steady signals for decades, went silent. The timing was exact, within milliseconds of a new spike in the 3 I/ATLAS transmission. The probe, humanity's farthest messenger, was gone. NASA declared it a coincidence, a technical fault, but in leaked internal recordings, engineers could be heard whispering that the data buffer had filled with repeating binary code, the same prime number sequence embedded in the first 3 I/ATLAS signal. It was as if something had reached across the stars and spoken back through our oldest machine. Panic reached the highest levels. An emergency summit convened in Geneva under the guise of a climate forum, but insiders knew the real topic. Several heads of state were briefed by astrophysicists who presented a stark conclusion. 3 I/ATLAS was not a random interstellar rock. It was a construct, possibly self-replicating, designed to seed or scan planetary systems. Its behavior matched no known natural model. Worse, calculations suggested it was slowing down. Its trajectory was shifting toward the ecliptic plane, aligning with Earth's orbital path. By October 2025, if the deceleration continued, it would intersect our solar system's inner regions again. The world was told nothing. Stock markets stabilized. News cycles turned back to politics and celebrity scandals. But behind the scenes, global defense networks began sharing classified radar data. Unmarked launches lifted off from Vandenberg, Baikonur, and Jiuquan. The official story was orbital debris mitigation. The truth was simpler. The world's governments were preparing for something they couldn't define. Then, on a cold August morning, every radio telescope on Earth registered the same event. The 3 I/ATLAS signal changed frequency, not randomly, but in a rising cascade that mapped perfectly onto the genetic structure of human DNA. 4 nucleotides, 4 base frequencies, repeated in sequences identical to adenine, cytosine, guanine, and thymine. The object wasn't just broadcasting mathematics anymore, it was speaking biology. That revelation broke the secrecy wide open. Whistleblowers from the ESA and NASA released the decrypted data to the public. Overnight, billions of people downloaded visualizations of the signal. When rendered as light waves, it formed a rotating helix of blue and gold. Eerily human, yet alien in symmetry. The image flooded social media, spawning endless interpretations. The creators of life, a cosmic mirror, or perhaps a countdown. Because hidden within the helix was a timer, a repeating decrement pattern consistent with a time code. Scientists calculated the 0 point to occur on October 21st, 2025. No one knew what would happen when it reached zero. Governments issued denials. Religious leaders called for calm. But strange phenomena began appearing worldwide. Magnetic compasses drifted unpredictably. Migratory birds flew in perfect geometric formations never before recorded. Ocean tides shifted by fractions of a millimeter in synchrony with the signal pulses. Something was resonating through the entire biosphere. A secret consortium of physicists from CERN, Fermilab, and Tokyo University gathered to model the phenomenon. Their findings were leaked only once in a file cryptically titled The Mirror Hypothesis. The document claimed that the 3I/ATLAS waveform contained not just data, but a structural blueprint, a recursive map of the universe's quantum vacuum fluctuations. In essence, it was a reflection of reality itself. The signal wasn't just from space, it was describing space. As the countdown ticked closer, the world grew tense. Religious movements proclaimed the arrival of a cosmic messenger. Skeptics mocked it as hysteria, but the skies kept changing. Observers in Argentina recorded a faint halo around the moon, a shimmering ring that flickered with patterns matching the binary of the 3I/ATLAS transmission. Night after night, the halo grew brighter, until finally, on October 20th, the eve of the countdown's end, it pulsed once, illuminating the entire southern hemisphere in a ghostly light. The pulse lasted exactly 42 minutes, the same duration as the original signal repetition. Then, silence. When the clock struck zero, every magnetic field monitor on Earth flatlined for exactly 2 seconds. In that instant, radio communication worldwide cut out. Airplanes lost contact, power grids flickered, and then, slowly, systems came back online. But the world was different. Satellite data showed a thin, luminous filament stretching from Earth's upper atmosphere into deep space, like a tether of energy. It traced directly along the outbound vector of 3I/ATLAS. The object was no longer visible on telescopes. It was gone. Yet the filament remained, fading only after 6 hours. When scientists analyzed the residual electromagnetic patterns, they found something no one could explain: a precise, mirrored imprint of Earth's magnetic field, inverted in polarity, extending outward as if a perfect copy of our planet had been scanned, duplicated, and sent somewhere else. The leading theory suggested that 3I/ATLAS wasn't a probe seeking to contact us. It was a mechanism collecting our world's signature, an interstellar archive of civilizations, a galactic census. Weeks later, NASA quietly released an update stating that new unidentified objects had been detected entering the solar system from the same trajectory 3I/ATLAS had taken outbound. They were smaller, faster, and moving with unnerving coordination. No further data was made public, but in rural areas, amateur astronomers began reporting faint lights moving in formation across the night sky, silent and steady, vanishing one by one into the darkness. Meanwhile, scientists studying human brainwave activity noticed an inexplicable synchronization during the blackout event. EEG readings from multiple continents showed identical spikes in alpha and gamma frequencies. Billions of minds, for a brief instant, had pulsed together, as if every human on Earth had become part of the same signal. Some dismissed it as instrumentation error. Others whispered of something deeper, that the message wasn't meant to be received through machines, but through us. In the months since, the world has changed in subtle, eerie ways. Magnetometers pick up rhythmic fluctuations aligned with the original 3I/ATLAS pattern. Radio noise backgrounds hum with barely audible resonance. Even the cosmic microwave background, the afterglow of the Big Bang, shows faint modulation consistent with the same waveform, as if the universe itself is echoing the signal now, endlessly repeating the message. Echo. Governments continue to deny any connection, yet leaked documents from the International Telecommunications Union confirm new interference bands being restricted globally. No civilian transmitters are allowed on those frequencies. They call them protected scientific zones, but the restrictions line up perfectly with the frequency frequencies of the 3I/ATLAS signal. Somewhere in the Nevada desert, inside a secure hangar complex, a team of specialists works in silence under the banner of a new initiative called Project Mirrorline. Their task: to analyze an anomaly detected near Earth's L2 point, a faint geometric reflection moving in perfect counter-orbit to our planet. It's as if Earth has grown a shadow twin, invisible except when struck by the right wavelength of the 3I/ATLAS signal. What it is, no one will say. Late one night, an engineer monitoring deep space telemetry noticed a faint return echo, a signal originating from the same coordinates where 3I/ATLAS disappeared months ago. The pattern was identical to the original transmission, except for one change. This time, the Morse phrase was longer. It read, "Echo complete. Archive initiated." The engineer froze. If the translation was correct, it meant the process, whatever it was, had finished. Earth had been cataloged. The file was classified within minutes, but not before fragments leaked through encrypted channels. Independent decoders confirmed the phrase, and hidden in the tail end of the transmission was a numerical tag, coordinates pointing not outward, but inward, to a location deep beneath the Pacific Ocean, near the Tonga Trench. Within days, seismic instruments detected micro-vibrations from that region, rhythmic pulses matching the 3I/ATLAS frequency. Submersible drones sent to investigate reported massive electromagnetic interference before their systems failed. The last transmission from one of them captured a brief image, a metallic structure embedded in the abyss, glowing faintly with the same blue-gold helix pattern as the original signal. Officially, the mission never happened, but those who saw the footage say it looked like a fragment of the object itself, as if part of 3I/ATLAS had never left, buried in our own planet long before we detected its passing. Maybe the visitor wasn't coming to us. Maybe it was waking up. The world above goes on, oblivious. But in the laboratories and control rooms where the data is still being decoded, one truth is becoming impossible to ignore. The signal didn't just travel across space. It traveled through time, through matter, through consciousness. It was a mirror held up to our world, showing us that we are not observers of the cosmos. We are part of a vast, interconnected system that records everything that ever was, and now that system knows we're here. In the end, the last line of the transmission remains the most haunting. Hidden deep within the static, after hours of analysis, researchers uncovered a faint closing signature. Translated from binary, it reads simply, "Signal acknowledged. Await further synchronization." The stars are silent again, but every 42 minutes, deep in the noise between frequencies, a tiny fluctuation hums, the faint heartbeat of an intelligence that may be closer than we think. 3I/ATLAS is gone, yet its echo remains, threading through our sky, our machines, and perhaps our own biology. Some say the message was a warning, others believe it was an invitation, but whatever it was, it changed everything. Because the final signal wasn't from them. It was from us, reflected, amplified, and sent back into the void, a mirror of humanity, drifting across eternity, whispering into the darkness. We are the echo now. Months passed. The panic faded, or at least it was buried under the weight of other headlines. People moved on, or pretended to. The auroras dimmed, the magnetic anomalies lessened, and the media quietly stopped mentioning 3I/ATLAS altogether. But deep beneath the surface of normal life, something continued to shift. The signal had changed us, not in ways we could see, but in ways we could feel. Across the globe, individuals began reporting strange dreams. They spoke of vast metallic structures suspended in oceans of light, of languages made of geometry, of voices repeating the same phrase, synchronization complete. Psychologists dismissed it as mass suggestion, a shared delusion amplified by media hysteria. But EEG scans of those dreamers showed unusual coherence, brainwave alignment that defied coincidence. In some tests, multiple participants entered identical dream states simultaneously, describing the same imagery despite being continents apart. Whatever 3I/ATLAS had done, it had connected something fundamental inside us. In a remote observatory in Norway, an astrophysicist named Dr. Lena Mikkelsen refused to let the mystery die. She'd been part of the original Atacama team that first picked up the signal, and she was convinced the final echo contained a second layer. an encrypted subchannel that no one had yet cracked. Night after night, she pored through terabytes of data, mapping harmonics, decoding modulations, searching for a pattern hidden within the noise. Then, one evening, she found it. A secondary waveform riding beneath the main signal, so faint it could only be detected when overlapped across months of recordings. When reconstructed, the hidden channel formed an image, not a spiral, not a helix, but a lattice, like an immense network connecting points of light. Each node corresponded to a location in space, and at the center, one unmistakable marker: Earth. The realization hit her with chilling clarity. The message wasn't a warning. It was an update, the way a system pings when a new device comes online. She uploaded her findings to a secure server and sent a brief message to her colleagues. "We've been added to the grid." Hours later, her research lab suffered a power surge. Backup systems fried. When investigators arrived, all digital traces of her data had been erased. Her notes were gone. Dr. Mickelson disappeared that same night. Official reports listed it as voluntary departure, but her friends found one thing left behind: a scrap of paper taped to her monitor with a single phrase: "It's not coming. It's already here." Soon after, atmospheric monitors began detecting a new phenomenon: bursts of microwave radiation, not from the sky, but from below, rising from the Earth's crust. The emissions matched the spectral pattern of the 3I/ATLAS frequency. Seismologists were baffled. The pulses weren't destructive, but they were rhythmic, beating like a planetary heartbeat, and they were spreading, moving across tectonic plates toward the Tonga Trench, the same region where the deep sea structure had been sighted months earlier. Satellite imagery later revealed faint thermal blooms beneath the ocean floor, circular formations that glowed briefly before fading. Analysts argued over the cause: geothermal venting or something else. Yet all around the world, compasses began to drift again, pointing not north but subtly eastward, toward a point deep beneath the Pacific, as if Earth's magnetic field was being rewritten. Some believe that what 3I/ATLAS awakened was ancient, a seed placed here long before humanity emerged. Others think it was never alien at all, but a mirror of our own technological evolution projected back at us, a feedback loop across time. Whatever the truth, one fact remains undeniable. Every 42 minutes, the resonance still hums beneath our oceans, whispering through the crust, pulsing in the air. A signal without a source, a code without an end. And maybe, somewhere out there, something is listening, waiting for our next reply. Because if 3I/ATLAS was the third interstellar object we ever found, then that means there was a first and a second. And if those were the scouts, perhaps this one was the receiver. A relay in an endless chain of echoes passing through civilizations long extinct, recording every signal, every heartbeat, every cry into the void. The next transmission could come tomorrow, or it could already be here, hidden in the static of our machines, waiting for us to notice. Because the real alarm wasn't what came from space. It's what was awakened inside us when we answered back.